so that new recording for 2015. So here it says simplify. First of all, simplify means write as a single fraction. So what we want to do is we want to write this as a single fraction. Right now there's two fractions being added together. So in order to write it as a single fraction, we have to add fractions. You go back to your fraction rules. If I want to add fractions, I need a common denominator. And then I'll either add or subtract the tops. In this case, we'll be adding. So my denominator here is p minus 2. That would get grouped together because of the subtraction sign. And p plus 1 would get grouped together. We can't cancel out those p's because they would be grouped together. And then we look, well, this one, what factor is it missing? It's missing p plus 1, and this one is missing p minus 2. I'm going to take, eventually if you do skip a step, as long as it's equivalent to what it is above, it's fine, because some of you might not want to write all of this out every single time. But the problem with skipping steps is sometimes if you make a major mistake and you've shown no work, then it could be, loss of a mark or loss of all the marks depending on where you made the mistake. So it's not bad to show your work. It really doesn't take that much time to write it out. It just feels annoying. Now I have a common denominator, so I can add the tops. And it'll all be over p plus 1, p minus 2. I'm going to multiply this out. This will become a difference of squared, p squared minus 1. And it's not as dangerous to multiply things out because we're adding. It's when we're subtracting that sometimes things can be dangerous because you have to remember to subtract everything. But right now for adding, it's not going to be bad. Foil this out, you're going to get p squared plus p minus 6. Do we have any like terms? Yes, we do. We're going to get 2p squareds plus p minus 7 over p plus 1, p minus 2. And you would have to check, if this is simplified completely, that you can't factor the top or there can't be more done on the top. The only thing I would check, okay, as far as simplifying this, because if I could factor the top and simplify it, then I would have to do that in this question. Now the only thing I'm going to check, the bottom has to be p plus 1, p minus 2. So the only way that we could strategic thinking check, it would have to be either one of these as a factor. Can you see that you can never, with 7, have p minus 2? So if it were possible, there would have to be a p plus 1. If I did p plus 1, in order to get 2p squared, I need 2p. In order to get minus 7, I'd have to do minus 7. And a quick check here with my outside and my inside gives me minus 5, not plus 1. So I know that there's nothing I need to do to simplify. That's one way to check to see if I could simplify more. Because sometimes if you look at this and try to factor it, this is actually one that can't be factored, but you might spend a lot of time trying to see if it could be factored, only to find out it can't be factored and then be frustrated that you spent that time. So this strategic thinking saying, if it could be simplified, the only one is a p plus 1. It doesn't work, so then I know that I'm done at this point. Try the, ooh, I'll do the second one with you. There's a little bit, it's got that special note. Okay, so we've got 2e minus 3. We've got a difference of squares here. Again, always factor first. Are any of the factors the same? They're close, right? Can you see that we have the e minus 3 and the 3 minus e are very close? We wrote a special note earlier. I mean, it was a long time ago. It was way back in 2014, but we'll write it again. That 3 minus e is equal to, if you take out a negative, negative e minus 3. That happens with any binomial. Any time that you have two of them that are identical with a minus sign but switched, then you can factor out a negative. Now I'm going to rewrite that with that negative factored out. Now we have a factor in common. And anytime we can make a factor in common, that is awesome. Some things, special note number 1, we'll call that special note number 1. Special note number 2 has to deal with negatives, fractions that are negative. Do you know that negative 1/3 is the same as 1 over negative 3, which is the same as negative 1/3? It's the whole thing. It doesn't matter where you put that negative. So now that I've factored a negative out on the bottom here, I could put this negative on the top, I could put the negative out front, or I could keep it on the bottom. Okay? What I would probably do in this situation, first of all, can you see that the factor that's missing is we need a 3 plus e on both sides? And what I would do with this negative is I would probably choose to put it out in front. Now if I put it out in front, it'll affect that other negative, and 2 negatives is the same as a positive. So we're going to change our sign in the middle to a positive, and now we're going to have 3 plus e, e minus 3, e minus 3, 3 plus e, and here we'd have, well, 3 plus e times 2 will be 6 plus 2e, and on the top over here I still have 3e. So that's one thing you could decide to do. If you could have also decided to put that negative up top and have a minus sign, but you know minus negative will become positive anyways. So now we're going to add the tops. We have a common denominator, e minus 3, 3 plus e. If you decided, because it bugs you to write the number first, does it bug you a little bit? Kind of bugs me. If you decided to write it e plus 3 instead of 3 plus e, that's fine because they're equivalent. And on the top we do have a common denominator, so 5e plus 6. Check if anything can be factored and simplified. It can't. So this is our final answer. And you can do question 3, 4b, 5, and 8 for practice with this one at the end of class.